Your corn crop, by the time it's V6, growing points out of the ground, will only utilize about 10% of its total seasonal nitrogen need. This is the first week of April. Put that on a calendar, and that's the last week of May, first week of June. You're on the ground today, again, with Rob Seco. I'm Todd Claussen. Don't let that nitrogen investment slip away from you. We're going to think about losses in two different ways. There's three real mechanisms of loss for nitrogen, but we want to talk about volatilization, number one. Two, we want to talk about leaching down through the soil profile. So right now we see a lot of equipment running. We're seeing some anhydrous ammonia being injected. And most people say, well, we're not going to stabilize nitrogen in the spring. It's not really all that necessary, but it is necessary. You don't need that nitrogen for 50 more days, 60 more days, and it needs to be there when that crop starts to kick in from V8 to VT, where it might use 5, 6, 7 pounds of nitrogen per acre per day. So it's not about putting more nitrogen out there. It's having the nitrogen that crop needs, when it needs it, where it needs it. So as we put anhydrous ammonia injected into the soil, anhydrous is a Greek term, and it's known as water seeking. So anhydrous ammonia is NH3. Ammonia needs water, H2O, to turn to ammonium. Crop only takes up two forms of nitrogen. One's ammonium, the other is nitrate. So you want to keep it in that ammonium form just as long as you possibly can. And a below ground nitrogen stabilizer that can slow down that nitrification process from ammonium to nitrate is extremely beneficial. So what it can help do for you in the spring is it has a time-lapse effect. It's almost like a poor man's side dress machine. You're going to keep it stable in the ammonium form, which attaches to the soil colloid, rather than having it convert to nitrate, which nitrate now repels from the soil into the soil solution, and as you get moisture, it will percolate down through the soil profile. We use a product called NCase, capital N-C-A-S-E, NCase below, from Streamline Ag, that will hinder and will slow down that nitrification process, protecting your injected anhydrous ammonia and even manures for a longer period of time. That's the leaching effect. Second is if you're dropping liquid on the surface, if you're dropping a UAN solution, 28% or 32%, it's urea, ammonium, nitrate. 50% of that solution is urea. Okay? Urea on the soil surface can volatilize. Urea will have a chemical reaction with water and an enzyme known as urease. We use a product called NCase Dual Action. And so what that product will do is it will slow down that urease enzyme activity, so your nitrogen that you apply to the soil surface, whether it's a weed and feed or just a full load of UAN solution, will have the opportunity, if you're not incorporating it physically, will have the opportunity to catch some rainfall. Then it will, it'll move into the soil profile, and then it will be buffered. That first reaction, urea, water, and urease, is ammonia, NH3. What happens if that material is still on the surface? When it produces the ammonia, you'll lose it. It'll slip away from you. It's a gas. Okay, so we're using two products. Below ground, we're using a product known as NCase Below that we use with anhydrous ammonia injection to stabilize, keep it in the ammonium form longer. We also use NCase Dual Action for that urea, that UAN solution on the soil surface, so it doesn't dissipate, so it doesn't volatilize, so you have nitrogen for your crop, where your crop needs it, when it needs it. You have any questions for us? You've been on the ground again with Rob Seco. I'm Todd Claussen.